Good morning. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show, episode 77, November 29th. I want to talk about the Obama Foundation. Okay? I mean, not only did we have the Clinton Foundation, which is obviously was just pay for play, where people can give an unlimited amount of money and the Clintons can basically spend it almost any way they want. Obviously, this funding curtailed for them when they lost power. Now, Obama's foundation is really raking in the money. So last year, it brought in $230 million. Now, supposedly, this is just to build his Obama Presidential Center in Jackson Park on the south side of Chicago. So like last year, or 2016, they brought in $13 million. And then this is an increase into this 501c of $218 million. A majority, this is from a Fox News article. You know, when I Google stories like this, Google knows that I'm a conservative. And they bring up all the leftist media. I mean, not Fox News. I have to Google specifically Fox News Obama Foundation for the Fox News. Google will never give me Fox News results. I mean, it's just, they bury those results. I have to dig them up, or I have to Google. I have to put Fox News because I don't want to click on any of these other leftist media outlets. I don't want to look at their advertising. I don't want to give them any clicks. So anyhow, it's so funny that I have to search for Fox News or I won't get it. It's just crazy. A majority of the foundation's money last year came from 13 undisclosed donors. Checks of $25 million were cut by 4 individual donors, while 2 donors added $24 million each in contributions. 7 more push between $5 and $10 million. You know, I'm not opposed to money in politics. But we need to be transparent about it. And if you're a politician and you're like the Clintons, when Hillary Clinton was running for president and her Clinton Foundation was bringing in all this money, especially foreign money, you know, let's just make it transparent so we can see. And so I'm not really opposed to that. I think that's really your First Amendment right to contribute to political organizations. But it is ironic. You got to see this. Well, I want to lead off because this Obama's on. He's doing this restart thing. Okay, he's not just being the quiet politician. All right, he is just out on the news circle. You got to hear this. This was at Rice University. Let's see if I can play this so you guys can hear this and see it. All right, here he is.
I'm proud of the Paris Accords. Because, look, I know we're an oil country, and we need American energy, and by the way, American energy production. You wouldn't always know it, but it went up every year I was president, and that whole suddenly America's like the biggest oil producer and the biggest that was me, people. I just want you to. It's a little like sometimes you go to Wall Street and folks will be grumbling about anti-business. I said, have you checked where your stocks were when I came in office and where they are now? What are you talking? What are you complaining about? Just say thank you, please. Because I want to raise your taxes a couple percent.
First of all, did you notice that he did not want to say oil? Oh, the leftists, they don't like the term oil. Oil is really bad and evil. It's not renewable. Okay, it's not renewable. Okay, nuclear energy is not renewable. For some reason, no, it's not renewable. And so he didn't want to say oil. He wanted, let me be clear. I was really into helping energy, American energy. He said energy instead of oil. Okay, he didn't want to say oil. And then he did say oil. Oh, and then he just a little tax increases. What? You don't need that money. You do not need that money. I mean, he literally is talking about how he's such great for business, and he raised taxes on business and people. Okay, that is not a way of helping the economy. The government cannot spend your money or my money better than we can spend it. No, no, no. Oh, Obama is so smug. Let me be clear. Oh, so he's back in the limelight. But so let's move on. What else can we say? He's trying so hard. I saw that and I'm like, well, who is that guy? I mean, wait a minute. He looks familiar. Oh, what? Where do I know that guy from? It's hilarious. Donald Trump has totally wiped out Obama's legacy. Pretty much gutted everything, thank goodness, everything that Obama mucked up for 8 years. He raised taxes, Donald's lowers taxes. He tries to do Obamacare, we're trying to destroy Obamacare. It's just, he tried to put the oil industry out of business, we're reviving the oil industry. I mean, remember, he was against the pipeline, what was that pipeline across the country, TPP I can't remember what it was. Obama was against that. Trump supported that right off the bat immediately. Oh, Obama is really desperately trying to hold on to his legacy. It's really cracks me up. This is a Fox News article on Mueller hardball. What's going on with the Mueller probe? I mean, I think we'll all be very happy when this thing's done. Every day the left will go, oh, now we've got Donald. Oh, now we've got him. Gosh, I have a liberal friend at work, and then he just, oh, now we've got him. Now we've got him. This Mueller probe, I mean, really, in all fairness, this thing was started because Donald was joking about Russia and being close to Russia. What's wrong with being friendly to Russia? So now, we think, the left thinks he's colluding with the Russians. So we're going to have this big, huge investigation. What does it cost? $30 million? The left doesn't cost about spending money there. But no, if we're going to spend a little money on the wall, oh no, wow, we can't afford that. So anyhow, this is from the article, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's tough tactics with investigation targets and witnesses are fueling complaints about the probe from President Trump and his allies at a critical stage as key cooperation efforts seem to break down. You've got this Jerome Corsi guy, and he's talking about he's got these lawyers, and he's got a criminal complaint against Mueller's special counsel and the DOJ for prosecutorial misconduct in my case. And so this conservative author, Jerome Corsi, balked at a plea deal after complaining that Mueller team wanted him to admit to lying, which he claims he didn't do, only after he couldn't give them what they wanted. He tweeted Wednesday how he plans to pursue a complaint. Further, Mueller's team has accused ex-Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort of violating his plea deal by lying to investigators amid reports his cooperation agreement was not panning out how prosecutors had hoped. More information also has come to light about the nature of those Mueller-Manafort interactions. As it emerged, Manafort's legal team has been briefing Trump's team about the discussions. Oh, God. You could see the separations of power here. You got the executive branch, and actually this Mueller investigation gets its authority from the Department of Justice, which is in the executive branch. And who is running the executive branch? Well, the Donald. He is. Yeah, the people have picked the Donald to run the executive branch. And so you've got Congress, the legislative branch. The Democrats over there are yelling and screaming. But really, the only the power that the legislative branch has over the executive really is just impeach the executive officer or not. So they're very limited. But we've got all these little quasi laws in here from the Nixon era, the Watergate era. So anyhow, this will continue to play out. Eventually, Mueller will give his report to the DOJ, and then they'll decide what they're going to release, and then the American people can decide what they want to do. It's basically leave Donald alone, or they could try to impeach him. So, if there was something super damning on Donald Trump, I think we would have it by now. Definitely we would have had it before the election. So anyhow, that goes on. No one really talks about like all of these women who speak out against Donald or Brett Kavanaugh. No one really talks about these people until afterwards. When things are revealed afterwards that these accusations were really shaky, it's funny, the leftist media will not report it. Now, I want to remember, I can't remember her. I was going to use her real name. Stephanie Clifford. Stephanie Clifford, the porn star. Well, she is all mad at Avenatti now. And she has claimed that Michael Avenatti, her attorney, sued President Trump for defamation without her approval and launched a second fundraising campaign to raise money without my permission, even my knowledge, and attributing words to me that I never wrote or said. Okay, so Avenatti continues to have bad press, and Stephanie Clifford continues to seek attention and try to get fortune and fame. Some things never change. It's okay. It's just good for us to point out this kind of hypocrisy. And it's also, I think, for us to remind ourselves that, just because a woman is saying something, she might not be right. So anyhow, Avenatti continues to have political problems. I really like this opinion piece of Jason Chaffetz and Fox News Chaffetz about asking Democrats questions about immigrations, because they're really demagoguing this issue. There's a lot of videos of Obama, like in his State of the Union address, and Bill Clinton talking about immigration reform, a strong border, preventing illegals from entering the country. I mean, Democrats used to stand for this stuff. But now they're going 11 out of 10 against the Donald, and they'll just go against him no matter what. So they're really not making much sense. And these are really good questions about immigration. And really, in all fairness, I don't think our laws are very broken at all. It's just that we don't enforce them. These are some of the questions he says that Jason Chaffetz says we should ask Democrats. What specific piece of immigration legislation have you introduced that could pass Congress? Okay, so really, have they brought up anything? He says that Nancy Pelosi, the last time she brought up, they don't actually have anything. And Jason Chaffetz served with Nancy Pelosi, never brought anything up. Do you know how many immigration bills came before the committee during the 2-year period? 0, when she was on the House Judiciary Committee with Nancy Pelosi. Okay, so there's a lot of lip service. There's a lot of blowhard yelling and screaming on immigration. But really, no, the legislation is non-existent. The Democrats have not been. I remember John McCain and the Gang of Six or something. There were senators on both sides of the aisle who brought forward some legislation, but that died. And I think it basically had a pathway to citizenship, okay? And so that's very controversial. The Democrats, of course, really want that. They want all these Democrat voters. Apparently, these immigrants vote Democrat most of the time. So the Republicans don't think that's very fair. I think Charles Krautheimer's solution that I've mentioned before on the podcast is the best. That the immigrants are here. Yes, they can have a pathway to legalization, but no voting rights. But their children who are born in this country would get voting rights. It's an interesting compromise. Of course, before we do any of that, we have to have a strong border. We have to have work validation so illegals can't work. And then we've got to get rid of the people who are staying past their visas. They need to be deported immediately. Then, with the border all secured and stuff, then we can work towards this pathway to legalization. I think that's a really good compromise. Do you oppose the concept of a border wall? I mean, we need to ask Democrats this. I mean, should we just tear down a wall? They don't want to fund any kind of wall. Should we tear it down? What do they really want? Okay, I love this. Do you believe America should stop policing our borders? Okay. Even Schumer and Pelosi are squeamish on stuff like this. If someone comes here illegally and does not meet the standards of asylum, would you detain and deport these people? Okay. Obama was doing catch and release, so all these illegals are caught, and then they are given a summons or something. They would come back, so there can be a trial, to see if they're really illegal. I mean, are they really illegal aliens or not? And then they're in the country now. They're released, and then they don't come back for their court dates. Many of them do not. So that's catch and release. They're caught as they broke into the country, but then they're released, and then they never come back for their court dates. How many people do you think should be legally allowed in the United States each year? All right. We already legally bring in roughly 1 million people per year. Should illegal immigrants be granted full access to American welfare state? Well, it's interesting, that interview of Ami, I forgot his last name, at Prager University video. He was interviewing people in the caravan, the invaders. And they all wanted to work, and they all wanted, they were talking like, yeah, we should get government benefits. Yeah, I heard there's a lot of good government benefits in the United States of America. We want that. So can we afford that? Are we going to who's going to pay increased taxes for that? And that's what Jason Chavez says. How much should taxes be raised to pay for illegal immigrants to access American welfare state? For they get them to schools and all that other stuff. These are really good questions. If they're talking about changing immigration, why not just enforce what we have unless they want to change something? They want to change the wall. They want to change the number of people. I have not heard of any ideas from the Democrats. It's just the Jim Acosta blowhard. What? There's no caravan? Oh, yeah, there is a caravan. Oh, they're not invading. They're 100 miles away. They'll never make it here. You're overreacting, President Trump. Overreaction. It's not an invasion. How can you call it an invasion? Oh, so moving on in a depressing, Jeff Flake continues to be an attention whore, and he's going to vote no on all these federal judges. He's on the Judicial Committee. If he votes no, the Democrats are all going to vote no. So it's 11-10 on this committee, so no, it won't go forward. So Grassley's he's 9.5. They're not even going to meet now because of Jeff Flake. And he's nominated one of these people on the Ninth Circuit. So this guy, he's trying to make his point. And why is he voting no? Why is he being a stick in the mud here? Well, he's doing it because he wants the Senate to vote on this bill that will protect Bob Mueller. Oh, Bob Mueller. To protect Bob Mueller from the President of the United States. So he's interfering with this executive branch of government. He's in the legislative branch, Jeff Flake, and he is trying to put restrictions on the President of the United States. Okay? It's probably not even constitutional what he's bringing up. This silly bill, which is just like, oh, well, we want to protect this special counsel Mueller. We want to make sure he's protected and that President Trump can't do anything about it. This is from a Breitbart article. Restricting a president's ability to fire a federal prosecutor violates the executive vesting clause of Article 2 of the Constitution, which gives the president all law enforcement power in the federal government. However, Flake threatened that unless lawmakers voted on such legislation, he would henceforth vote against all judicial nominees. Apparently, he was serious. In fact, Flake voted on Wednesday to filibuster a conservative nominee already on the Senate floor, Thomas Farr, who was nominated to be a federal district judge in North Carolina. Vice President Pence had to come to the Senate to exercise his constitutional power to break tie votes, invoking cloture 51-50. Pence's vote will likely be required again to confirm Farr this week. So, anyhow, Jeff Flake, he is a flaky flake. Is that guy really even a Latter-day Saint? I don't know. So, he continues to cause problems. But, the wonderful thing to look forward to is he is gone in like January 2nd or 3rd. And guess who he's replaced by? Oh, that flaming liberal lady down in Arizona, Sinema. Yeah, Kristen Sinema, whatever her first name is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we get to have her. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, that's the way it goes. Hey, did you guys see HRC? She just, had a complete meltdown. I'm going to see if I can play this for you. She's at this interview with Bill Clinton at her side.
She just doesn't want people like me saying, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Let's try to stop it.
So I'm going to ask a question, it's a serious question, and then maybe we'll end up on a little bit of a lighter note. But the United States pulled out of the Paris climate accords. Every other country in the world is a contributor. I guess my question to you, because this is very difficult for Canada. We're trying to put a price on pollution in Canada, and it's difficult to do when we see our neighbor and competitor and collaborator to the south is going another way. So just to lay our cards down, it's tough on us. But is there any doubt in your mind that about the science of climate change, or that there is climate change happening, and that it's man-made or person-made? To either one of you, is there any doubt on this, or any doubt that the United States should be showing more leadership to the world on this?
It's really interesting you asked this, because you talked about putting a price on carbon. We actually had Trent Lott, who was the Republican leader when I was president. I think John.
Oh, okay, that's enough of that. Oh, the questions on climate change, the science behind climate change. There is no science on climate change. Well, basically, the climate's always been changing, with or without men. There's a little political group of scientists who politically agree with being leftists and using this super scare tactics on us so they can get their government policies forth, and we can be in leadership in the world on this. I mean, but did you see Hillary there? Could you see that? And those of you guys just on the podcast, she's just coughing. She looks terrible. She's kind of slumped over in her chair. She's coughing, continue to cough. She's got to look at Bill to answer the question because she can't, because she's coughing so much. She drinks a glass of water, can barely find the glass of water on the table beside her. Man, I don't know. I'm just an anesthesiologist, so I'm not, I'm not like a neurologist or something, but I am not quite sure what is wrong with her. This coughing, this falling, I'm not quite sure what's going on. But anyhow, she's in this thing. You can hear the echoes in there. There's like 20 people in there watching this. So that's really interesting. Moving on, here's a little comment by Andrew Pollack. He mentions how this Captain Jan Jordan, how she froze during the Parkland shooting. Officers said she was in over her head. Now, Sheriff Israel admits Captain Jordan was recommended based on diversity, not qualifications. Her lack of leadership led to kids dying, all because they wanted diversity. I mean, this diversity thing, this is really the D word. This is the word that, is so popular amongst the left. First of all, our country is one of the most diverse countries in the world. We are the most diverse. We are the most open country. We're the country where you could have freedom of speech. I mean, only country in the world that the government it's not supposed to persecute you for freedom of speech. We know that the IRS was weaponized against conservatives during the Obama administration. But anyhow, they're not supposed to do that. And so these diversity hires, hiring people just because they're different color of skin, they're female, different genders. And I tell you, this is really sad. We should really stick to qualifications. Stick to qualifications. Don't worry about diversity. It'll just naturally happen. Okay? We're not going to be racist. We're not going to be sexist. We're going to just look for people's character and merits. Oh, I mean, this is what this is all about. This is what Martin Luther King Jr., this is what his whole idea was about. And he was so brilliant because, like Muhammad Gandhi, he used peaceful protests and peaceful persuasion to convince people that we all should be treated equally by our qualifications, not diversity. It's really dumb. So I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Kimberly Strassel, moving on, is responding to John O. Brennan. Now, I really do not like this man very much, this John Brennan guy. I mean, he is so liberal. He just drives me crazy. I forgot what he was. He wasn't Secretary of Defense. What was this guy? Former CIA director. Okay, this guy is just terrible. And now I lost I lost my little article. But John Brennan again is going after the Donald. I mean, he just relentlessly, he's just so very political. And so he's really frustrating. And so I'm glad that Kimberly Strassel is calling this guy out. And he goes after Donald like he is some kind of anti-biased, politically neutral person. We all know that he is from the far left. Now, speaking of crazy far leftists, this happened at John Wayne Airport, and this mom and daughter were flying Southwest Airlines. Okay, this is the discount airline. Okay, this is for the people who really want to save a lot of money, and you don't get a lot of frills. This is all kind of bare bones. The planes are a little old. They've been inspected. They're a little old. They're safe planes, but they're a little old. You might not get any peanuts, and you're not going to get a glass of wine or a Diet Coke maybe on these flights. This is really pretty basic. And so this lady is all mad at Southwest, and she's making a big complaint to Southwest, and of course Southwest apologized. And what this is over, the stink, is that this lady and her daughter, and the daughter's name is ABCDE. Okay, that's their name. That's how it's spelled. And anyhow, she's an epileptic. She has epilepsy. And so she always boards before others. Oh, so now in Southwest, I haven't flown Southwest in a long time, but I think it's kind of like a cattle thing, and you all just pile onto the plane, and you don't have all of these elitist zones. You don't have first class and all these things. I can't remember. But anyhow, so she's got seizures, apparently. Interesting. Who knows when her last seizure was, if this is even relevant. I'm really not quite sure why seizures has anything to do with getting on the plane early. I'm just saying. Now, I am just an anesthesiologist, but whatever. Let's move on. Tracy Redford said, this is from a Daily Wire article, by the way. Tracy Redford said the agent not only mocked her 5-year-old daughter's name, which is pronounced Absidy, in front of the young girl, but also took a picture of her boarding pass and posted it on social media so others could make fun of it too. Redford claimed the gate agent started laughing, pointing at me and my daughter, talking to others employees, so I turned around and said, "Hey, if I can hear you, my daughter can hear you, so I'd appreciate if you'd stop." She was going to El Paso. While I was sitting there, she took a picture of my boarding pass and chose to post it on social media, mocking my daughter. It was actually brought to my attention by somebody who had seen it on Facebook and reported to Southwest. Southwest said, "We extend our sincere apology to the family. We take great pride in extending our Southwest hospitality to all customers, which includes living by the golden rule and treating every individual with respect and person online. The post is not indicative of the care, respect, and civility we expect from our employees. We have followed up with the employee involved, and while we do not disclose personnel actions publicly, we are using this as an opportunity to reinforce our policies and emphasize our expectations." One might think that the child ABCD would be unique, but then it reports that there are a bunch of people with this name, and then there's this autistic girl. Now, I was interesting here. What I was trying to look is I wanted to see where that post was. And she posted, if the Southwest person put that on Facebook, which is obviously, not a smart thing to do. But I wonder about, I have never seen in my life, and I'm an old person, I'm 55 years old, I've never seen somebody just openly mock anyone like that in this kind of situation, ever. So I claim fake news on this. I don't believe this. I don't believe a Southwest employee would just mock someone because of their name. I've never seen anyone do that. That is, especially a 7-year-old girl who's autistic. Oh, yeah. No, wait, that's another one. So anyhow, that's another one. This is another story mentioned. In 2014, a 7-year-old autistic girl named Absidy, or ABCD, and her service dog, a pit bull named Pupcake, wanted to meet a mall Santa and waited for 30 minutes, but the Santa wouldn't meet the girl because he was afraid of the dog. So anyhow, there's another argument. So there you go. A lot of these stories like this, I really just don't believe it. It's really rare. Americans are really nice people, so they rarely ever, they're not going to make fun of a 7-year-old girl whose name's kind of different. Well, let's speak of another group of people, the MS-13 gang members, okay? And this one guy self-identified as an MS-13 gang member, and he's trying to file for asylum in the United States. Oh, he's arrested. Oh, and remember, the Donald doesn't do catch and release, so I guess he's just going to be arrested. This is from a Daily Caller story. Jose Villalobos Habel, he's a Honduran citizen, was arrested by Border Patrol agents assigned to El Centro sector. This around by San Diego a little bit. Around 6 p.m. that day, it read, after a short interview, the man told agents he is a Honduran citizen and active gang member with the notorious Mara Salvatrucha 13, MS-13, international crime organization. The man also told agents he traveled to the United States border with a large group of people from Central America intending to file for... Oh, he's in the caravan. All right, let's get aboard. Yeah, fast track into the United States. This story is kind of along a little bit of the same lines of the John Wayne Airport incident. This is really kind of a sad story of this couple, and apparently they're going through a divorce. And they have a 5 or a 6-year-old son, okay, and they are arguing. The mom says that he wants to be a girl, and he just dresses in girl clothes. But then the dad says when he goes over to his dad's house, he doesn't want those clothes. He dresses as a kid, a boy. Okay, so now apparently they're in a legal dispute, like a divorce or something like that. And so now this is all public and they're arguing about this. And so Ben Shapiro was talking about it. He's talking about they're fighting over the gender identity of their son. So the mom wants to chemically castrate the child by giving him hormone blocking agents so he won't reach puberty. And the father doesn't want that for his son. This is really, truly amazing. This is not, no one's going to, is anyone calling this child abuse? This is really alarming. If you had a 6-year-old son and he thought he should be an amputee, you think some orthopedic surgeon is going to chop off his leg? When we consent patients at the hospital, they have to be adults to consent. So yes, we need to trust the parents over the state, but now it looks like the fundamental rights of these kids are being violated by these parents. This is child abuse. I just don't understand how we can think otherwise. Why are we going to get involved? Where are the people going, oh, this mom is acting like God? She's going to give all these drugs to this kid to try to block him from developing into a man? Wow. That seems pretty excessive. These things, this kid could be altered for life with these medications. Wow. That's really bizarre. I'm totally against this. Why not just let the kid go up to 18, and then if he wants to do, if he's confused about his gender and he wants to cut things off or take hormones or have implants, whatever, of course he should have the right to do that. But when he's a minor like this is really scary when these wacko parents go berserk. This is really craziness. I looked this up and I was doing some research at Mike.com. There's this article which mentions transgender rights. What happens to custody when mommy becomes daddy? This is by Christine Salak. This is in 2013. A new joint publication between the ACLU and the National Center for Transgender Equality provides information to transgender parents whose spouses may use information about their transition against them in order for cases of child custody to be handled fairly. Protecting the rights of transgender parents and their children, a guide for parents and lawyers, compiles a number of situations a transgender parent may face when attempting to gain custody of their children and include case law and sample testimonies so the person may fight for fair and honest treatment even when their ex-spouse tries to demonize them for their gender identity. So this is talking about just like if the spouse has got gender confusion. Since custody agreements try to satisfy the best interest of the child, the transgender parent is often placed in a bad light because of their transition. Some courts have seen through transphobia. So now, so if you think people who are trans are confused or something, no, now they've got this word. This word is transphobia. This is derogatory term meaning like you are afraid of these people, like you are just deathly afraid that these people are doing this. In 1973, case Christian versus Randall found that the record contained no evidence that the environment of the transgender parents' home endangered the children's physical health or impaired their emotional development. In all actuality, it should be as simple as this. Regardless of the transgender parents' initial gender identification, the fact that they went from mommy to daddy should be irrelevant to their parenting ability. However, cases like Seslek versus Seslek ruled in favor of the cisgender parent. Yeah, so you get that. What is a cisgender parent? I kind of forgot. This article defines it for you, so you know. So you can figure this out. A cisgender parent is one whose gender identity and genitals match, like a person identifying as a woman who has a vagina. So that's a cisgender parent. I mean, you can't just say parent, like, or normal. Maybe we should just use the word normal parent. Oh no, they don't like that, normal, because then when they're going through all this gender confusion, then they're abnormal. So this is a cisgender parent. Because the impact of the parent's planned gender reassignment surgery on the children is unknown. This should be a no-brainer. The child was not in contact with the parent's genitals before, and what is inside their parent's underwear will not influence their parenting skills one way or another. But this case and others like it have terminated parenting rights of the transgender parents simply because they were transgender. Oh, this goes on and more and more and more and more. Just confusion and nonsense. And these people, we all know. I mean, there are people who are going through this sex reassignment surgery and they are unhappy. They want to be changed back. No, suicide rates. And I mean, I've read story after story of these people, and I've seen studies. Okay, now these studies are not very popular because you can't get the government to pay for these studies. But it's studies that show that all of this gender fluidity and stuff is these people are not increased at risk for emotional traffic. I mean, good grief. No. Please prove that I'm wrong on this. I don't think you're going to find any proof that all of this gender confusion is decreasing the suicide rate, making these people happier or more satisfied. No, this is confusion. And can you imagine being 6 years old and then and having this gender confusion? Ben Shapiro was talking about it the other week, and he said, yeah, if his kid is starting, his little 2-year-old boy is starting to dress as a girl, he's going to just go, hey, no, you're a guy, you dress this way. I mean, this is what parents do. Are you going to go play in the street? No. Don't run in the street. Get run over by a car. Stay out of the street. I mean, this is just common sense logic. Okay? 99.9% of us were either XY or we're XX. We're either male or female. So anyhow, I was searching this article. I was looking at these articles, and just for grins, I clicked on CNN.com and just looked at their headlines. The Christine Stefford Stevens, or whoever that porn star is, her article's not even on the front page here, and there are a lot of little articles here. The Michael Avenatti thing, I can't find that here. Oh no, there's just an opinion piece here. John Bolton is a coward. There you go. Anderson Cooper, why Trump's comments are problematic. The head story is the president's comments on the possibility of pardoning Paul Manafort can be interpreted as a bid to thwart Mueller's investigation. So anyhow, there is one good story I see in the headline here. U.S. calls for release of young Americans trapped in China ahead of G20. Okay, there. Yeah, China's not so great. And there, CNN is covering a pretty cool story. Oh, and then there's a headline thing at the very top. Michael Cohen expected to plead guilty to misleading Congress. Okay, there you go. So that's CNN. Those are the issues that they're going to cover. And they're really not going to cover these other stories that don't promote their leftist agenda. So I wanted to wrap up on a nice note. Light the World is our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We go into this Christmas season and people are just moaning and groaning and like, oh, are you getting ready for the holidays and this and like all this burden. I don't know why we just pile all this stuff on, all these expectations, all this decorating and stuff. If you're really into the decorating, just go for it. If you don't want to do it, my suggestion is don't do it. Don't do it. I know some people who really decrease the amount of gifts that they give, and they keep it Christmas really simple and just enjoy it with their family. And the best thing, our church just encourages to have this little activity, Light the World. It's really opportunities to serve others and just reminds us of Jesus Christ and how he served others. I love that. And really serving others and thinking of others is something that Christ really wants us to do, and something that I like to stay focused on and do a better job of. I want to close from a scripture in the Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi, chapter 31, verse 20. Wherefore you must press forward with a steadfast in Christ, having a perfect brightness of hope and love of God and of all men. Wherefore, if ye shall press forward, feasting upon the word of Christ, and endure to the end, behold, thus saith the Lord Father, ye shall have eternal life. This is Philip Koerper, and this is the Philip Koerper Show. You can subscribe at iTunes or SoundCloud, or watch the video on YouTube at the Philip Koerper Show. Just Google that. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.